Why are the chosen ones destined to walk their path in solitude? This is a question often asked, and the answer lies deep within the teachings of Gautama Buddha. The Buddha once said, "You only lose what you cling to." This timeless wisdom suggests that those who walk the spiritual path, the chosen ones, must learn to detach from the material and social bindings of the world. In this detachment lies their solitude, but why are they alone? What is the deeper meaning behind their solitary existence? Let us explore 7 profound reasons, each revealing a hidden layer of spiritual truth. Through these reasons, we will come to understand that the solitude of the chosen ones is not a burden, but a gift, a necessary stage in their journey toward enlightenment. 1. The path to self-discovery requires solitude. The first reason why the chosen ones are alone is because solitude is the gateway to self-discovery. Imagine a river flowing through a deep, dense forest. The river does not hurry, it moves slowly, finding its way through rocks and trees. Just like this river, the chosen ones must travel alone to find their true nature. In the noise of society, in the constant chatter and distraction of everyday life, it is impossible to hear the inner voice. Solitude allows one to pause and reflect, to listen to the sound of the universe within. Gautama Buddha spent years in solitude. Meditating under the Bodhi tree, detached from the world, before attaining enlightenment, in silence, the chosen ones learn who they truly are, beyond the layers of ego, expectations, and external identities. They understand that they are not their body, not their mind, but something much deeper. This realization requires inner stillness, and stillness is born from solitude. The chosen ones are alone because they must embark on the journey of self-discovery. In the company of others, they would be distracted by the external world, making it difficult to hear their own soul's voice. Solitude, therefore, becomes a powerful tool for introspection and self-understanding. 2. The burden of knowledge separates them. The second reason for their solitude is the burden of knowledge. The chosen ones often possess wisdom that others do not. This wisdom sets them apart, for with great understanding comes great responsibility. Gautama Buddha once said, "The root of suffering is attachment," and the chosen ones, through their knowledge, understand the weight of these words. They see suffering all around them, people trapped in desires, anger, and ignorance. However, not everyone is ready to hear the truth. The chosen ones may speak of detachment, of letting go, and of embracing the present moment, but their words are often misunderstood. The world clings to illusions, and the truth can be painful to hear. As a result, the chosen ones are often seen as outsiders, different from the rest of society. The chosen ones are alone because the knowledge they carry often alienates them from others. They see the world with a clarity that most cannot comprehend, and this separates them, leaving them in solitude, not out of choice but out of necessity. 3. Inner peace cannot be found in the chaos of the world. The third reason is that the chosen ones seek inner peace, and inner peace cannot be found in the chaos of the world. The teachings of Zen emphasize the importance of mindfulness and being present in the moment. Yet, in the hustle and bustle of society, the mind is constantly pulled in different directions, toward desires, toward fears, and toward attachments. The chosen ones, understanding this, retreat into solitude to cultivate their inner calm. It is in solitude that they can practice mindfulness without distractions. They sit in meditation, breathing in the present moment, letting go of the past and the future. In this practice, they find true peace, a peace that the external world cannot offer, the chosen ones are alone because they seek peace beyond the material and the chaotic. Solitude allows them to nurture this peace within themselves, free from the noise and distractions of society. 4. True strength is found in solitude. The fourth reason is that solitude is a source of strength. It is often said that adversity reveals the true nature of a person. In solitude, the chosen ones confront their fears, doubts, and insecurities. There is no one to lean on, no one to distract them from their inner struggles. They must face themselves, raw and unfiltered. This confrontation is not easy. It is painful, but it is also necessary. The chosen ones learn to become their own source of strength. They develop resilience, an unshakable inner foundation that no external force can break. Gautama Buddha, in his teachings, emphasized the importance of self-reliance. He said, "No one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path." The chosen ones are alone because solitude forces them to become strong from within. In facing their inner darkness, they emerge stronger, more resilient, and more capable of walking the path to enlightenment. 5. The world fears what it does not understand. The fifth reason is that the chosen ones are often misunderstood by the world. Those who walk the spiritual path do not follow the rules of society. They are not driven by wealth, fame, or success. Instead, they seek wisdom, compassion, and truth. This makes them different, and society often fears what it does not understand. The chosen ones may be seen as strange, eccentric, or even threatening. Their detachment from the material world can be perceived as arrogance or indifference. But this is not the case. The chosen ones are not aloof, they are simply not bound by the same desires and fears that govern others. Gautama Buddha himself was misunderstood by many during his time. His message of non-attachment and compassion was revolutionary, and not everyone was ready to accept it. The chosen ones are alone because their way of life is often misunderstood by others. The world fears what it cannot comprehend, and this fear creates a barrier that separates the chosen ones from the rest of society. 6. Solitude is a path to compassion. The sixth reason why the chosen ones are alone is that solitude deepens their compassion. This may seem paradoxical, but it is true. When one is constantly surrounded by others, there is little time for reflection. However, in solitude, the chosen ones are able to meditate on the suffering of others. They develop a deep sense of empathy, understanding that all beings are connected and that the pain of one is the pain of all. In their solitude, the chosen ones cultivate compassion, not just for those around them, but for all living beings. They understand that suffering is universal, and they seek to alleviate this suffering through their actions. Gautama Buddha's entire life was dedicated to helping others find freedom from suffering. His compassion was born from deep introspection and meditation in solitude. The chosen ones are alone because solitude allows them to cultivate compassion. It is through their own suffering and introspection that they develop the empathy needed to help others on their path to enlightenment. 7. The journey to enlightenment is a lonely one. Finally, the seventh reason why the chosen ones are alone is that the journey to enlightenment is a solitary path. Enlightenment cannot be given, it must be earned. It is a deeply personal journey that requires dedication, patience, and perseverance. No one can walk this path for another, just as no one can fully understand the unique challenges and insights that arise along the way. In Zen and Buddhist philosophy, the chosen ones understand that the ultimate truth lies within themselves. The external world is full of distractions and illusions, but the path to enlightenment requires turning inward. Gautama Buddha walked this path alone, as did many great masters who followed him. They all understood that true wisdom comes from within, and this wisdom can only be accessed in solitude. The chosen ones are alone because the journey to enlightenment is one that must be walked alone. No one else can give them the answers they seek. They must find them within themselves through meditation, mindfulness, and self-reflection. Conclusion: solitude as a gift. In the end, the solitude of the chosen ones is not a punishment, but a gift. It is in this solitude that they find their true selves, develop strength, and cultivate compassion. It is in this solitude that they gain the wisdom to see beyond the illusions of the world and understand the deeper truths of existence. Gautama Buddha once said, "Better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace." The chosen ones, through their solitude, find that word of peace within themselves, and in doing so, they are able to share it with the world. So, while the chosen ones may walk their path in solitude, they are never truly alone. They are connected to the universe, to all living beings, and to the truth that lies within themselves. Their solitude is not a burden, but a necessary step on the path to enlightenment. Thanks for watching. Hope enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Just click the subscribe button below and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Also, feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you'd like to see next. See you in the next video. In the heart of a lush, serene valley, there was a small village nestled among the hills, where the wisdom of Zen and the teachings of Buddhism intertwined seamlessly with the rhythm of everyday life. In this village lived a humble monk named Tenzin, renowned for his profound insights and gentle demeanor. Tenzin was known far and wide for his ability to guide others on the path of enlightenment, and he often shared parables and stories to impart wisdom to those who sought his counsel. One crisp morning, as the sun began to cast its golden rays over the valley, a group of villagers gathered at the entrance of Tenzin's modest abode. They had heard whispers of his latest tale, one that promised to illuminate the path to inner peace and contentment. With eager anticipation, they settled around Tenzin, who sat cross-legged on a worn mat beneath a towering oak tree. "Dear friends," Tenzin began, his voice soft yet resonant, "today I shall share with you a tale of 10 mindset habits that hinder our journey towards true fulfillment. These habits, like weeds in the garden of the mind, must be uprooted if we are to flourish in the light of enlightenment." And so, with rapt attention, the villagers listened as Tenzin wove his tale. 1. The habit of comparison. In a distant land, there lived a young carpenter named Sora, whose skill with wood was unmatched in the village. Yet, despite his talent, Sora found himself plagued by the habit of comparison. Whenever he saw the work of other craftsmen, he would feel a pang of envy, believing their creations to be superior to his own. One day, Tenzin continued, Sora sought the counsel of an elderly monk who dwelled in the mountains. "Why do you compare yourself to others?" the monk asked gently. "Your worth lies not in how you measure up to others, but in the sincerity and dedication you bring to your craft." With these words echoing in his heart, Sora learned to embrace his unique talents and find joy in the process of creation. Free from the shackles of comparison. 2. The habit of attachment. In the heart of the village, there lived a merchant named Hero, whose wealth and prosperity were the envy of all. Yet, despite his abundance, Hiro was consumed by the habit of attachment. He clung tightly to his possessions, fearing their loss and seeking solace in material wealth. One day, Tenzin continued, Hiro encountered a wandering sage who spoke of the impermanence of all things. True wealth lies not in the accumulation of possessions, the sage proclaimed, but in the richness of the heart. Moved by these words, Hiro began to loosen his grip on material wealth, finding greater fulfillment in generosity and compassion towards others. 3. The habit of judgment. In the village square, there lived a wise elder named Mei Ling, whose counsel was sought by all who faced life's challenges. Yet, despite her wisdom, Mei Ling struggled with the habit of judgment. She would often assess others harshly, failing to see the beauty and complexity within each soul. One day, Tenzin continued, Mei Ling encountered a young child who spoke with innocence and clarity. "Why do you judge others?" the child asked curiously. "Every being is a reflection of the divine, worthy of love and compassion." With these words stirring her heart, Mei Ling learned to see beyond the surface of appearances, embracing the inherent worth of every being she encountered. 4. The habit of resistance. Deep in the forest, there lived a hermit named Akio, who had renounced the world in pursuit of solitude and enlightenment. Yet, despite his seclusion, Akio found himself trapped in the habit of resistance. He would push against the flow of life, seeking to control outcomes and avoid discomfort at all costs. One day, Tenzin continued, Akio came upon a tranquil stream that flowed effortlessly through the forest. "Why do you resist the natural flow of life?" the stream whispered gently. "Surrender to the currents of existence, and you will find peace within." With these words echoing in his soul, Akio learned to relinquish his need for control, surrendering to the ebb and flow of life with grace and acceptance. 5. The habit of fear. High atop a mountain peak, there lived a young monk named Jin, whose courage and determination were admired by all. Yet, despite his bravery, Jin harbored a deep-seated fear of the unknown. He would often shy away from new experiences, clinging to the safety of familiarity. One day, Tenzin continued, Jin encountered a wise old owl who soared fearlessly through the night sky. "Why do you fear the unknown?" the owl hooted softly. "Embrace the mysteries of life, for they hold the keys to growth and transformation." With these words resonating in his heart, Jin found the courage to venture into the unknown, trusting in the wisdom of the universe to guide his path. 6. The habit of self-doubt. In the shadow of a towering cliff, there lived a young maiden named Hannah, whose beauty and grace were renowned throughout the land. Yet, despite her outward confidence, Hannah struggled with the habit of self-doubt. She would often question her worth and abilities, fearing that she was unworthy of love and admiration. One day, Tenzin continued, Hannah encountered a gentle breeze that whispered through the valley. "Why do you doubt yourself?" the breeze murmured softly. "You are a radiant expression of the divine, worthy of all the love and abundance the universe has to offer." With these words stirring her soul, Hannah learned to embrace her inherent worth and beauty, casting aside the chains of self-doubt that had bound her for so long. 7. The habit of impatience. In the heart of the village, there lived a young farmer named Ryuichi, whose diligence and perseverance were unmatched in the fields. Yet, despite his tireless efforts, Ryuichi was plagued by the habit of impatience. He would often grow frustrated when results did not come quickly, seeking instant gratification rather than trusting in the natural rhythms of growth and change. One day, Tenzin continued, Ryuichi gazed upon the towering oak tree that stood at the center of the village. "Why do you rush the unfolding of life?" the tree whispered in the breeze. "Trust in the process of growth, and you will reap the fruits of your labor in due time," with these words sinking deep into his heart. Ryuichi learned to cultivate patience and perseverance, embracing the journey of life with unwavering trust and faith. 8. The habit of resentment. In a remote corner of the village, there lived a humble potter named Taro, whose hands were blessed with the gift of shaping clay into works of art. Yet, despite his talent, Taro harbored a deep-seated resentment towards those who had wronged him in the past. He would often dwell on past grievances, allowing bitterness to poison his heart and soul. One day, Tenzin continued, Taro stumbled upon a delicate flower blooming amidst the rocky terrain. "Why do you hold on to resentment?" the flower asked gently. "Forgiveness is the key to setting yourself free from the chains of the past." With these words echoing in his mind, Taro embarked on a journey of forgiveness, releasing the burdens of resentment that had weighed heavily upon him for so long. In forgiving others, he found liberation and inner peace, allowing his heart to blossom like the delicate flower he had encountered. 9. The habit of distraction. In the bustling marketplace, there lived a young artisan named Yumi, whose creative spirit knew no bounds. Yet, despite her passion for her craft, Yumi found herself ensnared by the habit of distraction. She would often lose herself in the whirlwind of daily life, allowing her focus to waver and her dreams to languish. One day, Tenzin continued, Yumi sought the guidance of a wise elder who dwelled in the mountains. "Why do you allow yourself to be pulled in so many directions?" the elder asked gently. "Focus your attention on that which truly matters, and you will unleash the full potential of your creative spirit," with these words illuminating her path. Yumi learned to cultivate mindfulness and presence, channeling her energy into her art with unwavering clarity and purpose. 10. The habit of ego. In the depths of the forest, there lived a solitary wolf named Kaida, whose strength and cunning were unmatched in the wild. Yet, despite her prowess, Kaida was ensnared by the habit of ego. She would often seek to dominate others, believing herself to be superior and invincible. One day, Tenzin continued, Kaida encountered a wise old wolf who had roamed the wilderness for many seasons. "Why do you cling to the illusion of superiority?" the old wolf asked sternly. "True strength lies not in dominance, but in humility and cooperation with the pack." With these words echoing in her ears, Kaida humbled herself before the wisdom of the old wolf, learning to embrace the interconnectedness of all beings and to walk the path of humility and compassion. As Tenzin concluded his tale, a profound silence descended upon the gathering, each villager reflecting deeply on the lessons imparted by the stories. In the gentle rustle of leaves and the soft hum of the breeze, they found solace and inspiration to embark on their own journeys of self-discovery and transformation. And so, under the watchful gaze of the rising sun, the villagers bid farewell to Tenzin, their hearts filled with gratitude for the wisdom he had shared. As they dispersed into the embrace of the valley, they carried with them the light of enlightenment, illuminating the path for all who sought to tread the way of Zen and Buddhism. Thanks for watching. Hope enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Just click the subscribe button below and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Also, feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you'd like to see next. See you in the next video. Once, in a peaceful valley nestled between the arms of ancient mountains, there stood a humble monastery surrounded by tall, whispering trees. The air was cool, carrying the subtle scent of pine and earth, and the sound of a distant stream echoed through the tranquil landscape. This monastery was known to those few who sought its teachings as the sanctuary of stillness. Within its walls, the practice of stilling the mind was the foundation of all learning. It attracted seekers from all corners, each drawn by the hope of taming the incessant chatter of their overactive thoughts. Among the many travelers who came to the monastery was a wandering student. This student, who had no name in this place, had journeyed far and wide in search of peace. Though they had seen much of the world, their mind was plagued by ceaseless rumination, constant worries, thoughts, and overthinking that clouded their heart and soul. As they approached the gates of the monastery, the student was greeted by an old monk who exuded an aura of calmness and wisdom. His smile was kind, and his eyes seemed to pierce through the veils of time. Bowing gently, the monk ushered the student inside. "Why have you come?" The monk asked softly as they sat beneath a large, old tree. "I seek peace," replied the student. "My mind is restless, and I cannot escape my thoughts. I overthink everything, every moment, every decision, every mistake. It is like an endless storm inside my head." The monk nodded, understanding the deep suffering that overthinking brought. He invited the student to stay at the monastery and follow the teachings of the sanctuary. Tip 1. Awareness of the present moment. The first lesson began the next morning as the monk and the student walked through the nearby forest. The monk asked the student to describe what they saw. The student, eager to show their sharpness, began to name the things around them. "I see tall trees, I hear birds singing, and I feel the earth beneath my feet." The monk smiled and said, "Yet, even as you describe these things, where is your mind? Is it truly in the trees, the birds, or the earth?" The student hesitated. Their mind had not been truly with what they described. It had wandered to thoughts of the past and the future, reflecting on things beyond the present, to still the mind. The monk said, "You must first bring your awareness to this moment, to the now. Overthinking is the mind's habit of dwelling in the past or anticipating the future. But peace can only be found in the present." He handed the student a smooth stone and instructed them to hold it in their hand, feel its texture, and focus only on its weight and form. As the student did so, the monk continued, "When your thoughts begin to spiral, return your attention to the present. Engage your senses. What do you see, feel, hear? Overthinking cannot survive where there is full attention to the present." With practice, the student began to notice their thoughts more clearly. Each time their mind wandered, they would gently guide their awareness back to the present, whether it was through the feeling of the wind on their skin or the sound of the stream nearby. The endless storm in their mind began to calm. Tip 2. Letting go of control. As the student continued their practice, they grew frustrated. "Even when I am present, the thoughts return. I try to control them, to push them away, but they come back even stronger." The monk smiled knowingly and led the student to a quiet corner of the monastery where a small stream flowed through the rocks. He picked up a leaf and placed it gently in the water. The student watched as the leaf floated serenely downstream, carried by the current. "Do you see the leaf?" the monk asked. "It moves with the stream, not against it. The water guides it effortlessly. This is how you must treat your thoughts. Overthinking arises from our desire to control the future. Control the outcome, control every aspect of our lives. But in this control, we create tension. And tension feeds overthinking. The monk instructed the student to sit by the stream each day and observe the water and the leaves. Let your thoughts come and go as the water flows. Do not hold them, do not try to control them. Simply observe. Though it was difficult at first, the student learned to release their need for control. Thoughts would arise, and instead of wrestling with them, the student would let them pass like the leaves on the water. They found that the more they let go, the less power their thoughts held over them. Tip 3. Acceptance of impermanence. One day, the monk asked the student to join him in the meditation hall. As they sat in silence, the monk placed a single flower before them. "Look at this flower," the monk said. "It is beautiful, delicate, and full of life. But soon, it will wither and die, for this is the nature of all things." The student gazed at the flower, feeling a sense of sadness at the thought of its impermanence. "This sadness," the monk said, "comes from your attachment." Overthinking often arises from our resistance to the impermanent nature of life. We fear change, we cling to what was, or we worry about what will be. But all things, our thoughts, our emotions, our very lives, are like this flower. They bloom and they fade. To stop overthinking, you must learn to accept impermanence. The student pondered this deeply and realized that much of their overthinking stemmed from their fear of change, their attachment to past events, and their anxiety about an uncertain future. By accepting that everything is impermanent, even their thoughts, they began to release the grip of overthinking. They practiced sitting in the meditation hall each day, focusing on the fleeting nature of their thoughts. They would arise, linger for a moment, and then disappear, just like the flower that eventually withered and returned to the earth. Tip 4. The power of mindful breathing. As the seasons changed, the student found themselves struggling again with moments of intense overthinking. It was as if their mind had a mind of its own, refusing to be still, no matter how present they tried to be. The monk noticed their distress and offered a simple but profound practice: mindful breathing. "Your breath is the anchor that ties you to the present moment," the monk explained. "It is always with you, steady and constant, like a calm sea beneath the storm. When you feel your mind beginning to race, return to your breath." The monk guided the student through a breathing exercise. Inhale deeply, feeling the air fill your lungs. Exhale slowly, releasing any tension. Focus on the rhythm of your breath, in and out. The student found that as they focused on their breath, their racing thoughts began to slow. The simple act of breathing, when done with full awareness, created a space between their thoughts and their reactions to them. It was as though the breath became a refuge, a still point amidst the chaos of the mind. Day after day, the student practiced mindful breathing. It became their most reliable tool for calming their overthinking mind. Whenever their thoughts spiraled, they would pause, breathe, and return to the present moment. Tip 5. Detachment from outcomes. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the monk and the student sat together on a hill overlooking the valley. The sky was painted in hues of orange and purple, and the world seemed to hold its breath in reverence for the setting sun. "Why do you overthink?" the monk asked gently. The student thought for a moment. "I overthink because I worry about the future. I fear that things won't go as I hope. I feel anxious about making the wrong decisions." The monk nodded. Overthinking often stems from our attachment to specific outcomes. We believe that if we think enough, we can control the future, but this is an illusion. The future is beyond our grasp. And the more we cling to a desired outcome, the more we suffer. He pointed to the setting sun. Look at the sun. It sets without fear of the night, for it knows that it will rise again in the morning. It does not cling to the day, nor does it fear the darkness. It simply follows the natural rhythm of life. The monk taught the student the practice of detachment. Detach yourself from the outcome of your actions. Do your best in the present moment, but release your expectations of the future. Trust in the natural flow of life. The student began to apply this teaching to their daily life. They focused on their efforts, but let go of their need for specific results. This detachment brought a profound sense of freedom. And their overthinking diminished as they learned to trust the unfolding of life. As the seasons passed and the leaves of the trees turned from green to gold, the student continued their practice in the sanctuary of stillness. Day by day, they followed the teachings they had learned, bringing their awareness to the present moment, letting go of control, accepting impermanence, practicing mindful breathing, detaching from outcomes, and offering themselves compassion. Each practice became a stepping stone on the path to inner peace. Thanks for watching. Hope enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Just click the subscribe button below and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Also, feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you'd like to see next. See you in the next video. In a quaint village nestled at the edge of a vast forest, a young seeker embarked on a quest for wisdom. The seeker, having grown weary of mundane life, yearned for deeper understanding and enlightenment. The village, known for its tranquility, was home to a venerable monk who had lived through countless seasons, his wisdom revered by all. The seeker approached the monk with a heart full of questions. "Master," the seeker began, "I am lost. I seek the meaning of life, the essence of our existence. Can you help me?" The monk smiled gently and motioned for the seeker to sit beside him. "Patience," he said softly. "Life's mysteries unravel not through haste, but through understanding the flow of karma. Every action, thought, and intention sets a cycle in motion. What goes around comes around." The seeker, though eager, remained silent, absorbing the monk's words. The monk began to tell a story, one that would illustrate the profound truth of karma. 1. The generous merchant. Long ago, in a bustling marketplace far from the serene village, lived a prosperous merchant. Known for his wealth, the merchant was also renowned for his generosity. He believed in helping others, understanding that the well-being of the community would ultimately benefit everyone, including himself. One day, while walking through the marketplace, the merchant encountered a beggar, shivering from cold and hunger. Moved by compassion, the merchant took off his own cloak and gave it to the beggar, along with a bag of gold coins. "Use this wisely," the merchant advised, "and may it bring you a better life." The beggar, overwhelmed with gratitude, vowed to change his ways. He used the gold to start a small business, and with hard work and honesty, he thrived. Years later, the beggar-turned-businessman remembered the merchant's kindness and sought him out. However, the merchant had fallen on hard times. His once flourishing business was now struggling, and he was on the verge of losing everything. The former beggar, now a wealthy trader, repaid the merchant's kindness by investing in his business, helping him regain his lost fortune. The merchant was astonished. "Why do you help me?" he asked. The trader smiled. Because once, you helped me when I had nothing. What goes around comes around. 2. The arrogant nobleman. In another part of the land, there was an arrogant nobleman who believed himself superior to all others. His wealth and status had made him proud and dismissive of those less fortunate. He treated his servants with disdain and was known for his harshness and lack of empathy. One day, the nobleman encountered an old, destitute man by the roadside. The man pleaded for help, but the nobleman scoffed, pushing him aside. "You are nothing," he sneered. "Why should I dirty my hands for someone like you?" Years passed, and the nobleman's fortunes changed. His arrogance led to reckless decisions, and he squandered his wealth. Eventually, he found himself penniless and alone, wandering the streets he once owned. In a cruel twist of fate, he encountered the same old man, now in a position of modest comfort. The old man, recognizing the nobleman, extended his hand in kindness. "Why help me?" the former nobleman asked, humbled and broken. The old man replied with a serene smile. "Because, even when you showed me cruelty, I learned compassion. What goes around comes around." 3. The compassionate farmer. In a small village surrounded by fertile fields, there lived a compassionate farmer. He was known for his kindness to both people and animals. Every day, he would feed the birds, tend to the sick, and help his neighbors with their crops. His life was simple, yet filled with contentment and peace. One harsh winter, a severe storm devastated the village. Crops were destroyed, and food became scarce. The villagers were on the brink of despair. The farmer, however, remained hopeful. He believed that his past deeds of kindness would not be forgotten by the universe. As the days grew colder, the birds he had once fed returned, bringing with them seeds and small grains they had gathered from distant lands. The farmer shared this bounty with his neighbors, ensuring everyone had enough to eat until spring arrived. The villagers, moved by his selflessness, worked together to rebuild and recover. One day, a young villager asked the farmer, "Why do you help us so much? Even when you have so little?" The farmer replied with a gentle smile, "Because kindness is a seed that, when sown, will always bear fruit. What goes around comes around." 4. The wise monk's test. Returning to the serene village at the edge of the forest, the monk paused in his storytelling. The seeker, now deeply absorbed, looked at the monk with curiosity. "Master, do you mean that every action, whether good or bad, will return to us in some form?" The monk nodded. "Indeed. Life is a cycle, an endless wheel of cause and effect. To truly understand, you must experience it yourself." The monk decided to test the seeker's understanding. He gave the seeker a task, to live among the villagers and perform acts of kindness without expecting anything in return. The seeker agreed, eager to learn. Days turned into weeks, and the seeker helped the villagers in various ways. He mended fences, fetched water, and cared for the sick. Despite initial skepticism, the villagers began to appreciate his efforts. Gradually, the seeker noticed subtle changes in his life. He felt more at peace, and the villagers, in turn, started helping him without being asked. One evening, after a particularly fulfilling day, the seeker returned to the monk. "Master, I feel a profound change within me. I understand now that our actions, driven by pure intentions, create ripples that return to us." The monk smiled, his eyes twinkling with approval. "You have learned well, young seeker. Remember, what goes around comes around. This is the essence of karma, the universal law of cause and effect. Years passed, and the seeker, now an elder, became the new wise sage of the village. He continued to share the teachings of karma with those who sought wisdom. His life, marked by compassion and understanding, served as a testament to the enduring truth of what goes around comes around. One day, a young villager approached the elder with a question. "Great sage, I have heard your teachings and seen the results of karma in our village. But what about those who seem to escape the consequences of their actions? How does karma apply to them?" The elder, with a serene smile, explained, "Karma is not always immediate. It operates on its own timeline, beyond our understanding. Those who escape consequences in this life may face them in the next. The universe always balances itself." He shared a story of a cruel king from a distant land who, despite his tyranny, lived a long life of luxury. Upon his death, he was reborn as a humble servant, enduring the hardships he once inflicted upon others. The cycle of karma, though slow, was inevitable. The young villager, enlightened by the story, bowed in gratitude. The elder continued, "Live your life with integrity and compassion. Trust in the flow of karma, for what goes around comes around, in this life or the next." As the years turned into decades, the elder sage's teachings spread far and wide. People from distant lands came to learn the wisdom of karma. The village flourished, becoming a beacon of peace and harmony. One day, as the elder felt his time on earth drawing to a close, he gathered his disciples for a final lesson. "Remember," he began, "the essence of karma is not just in our actions but in our intentions. True karma lies in the purity of our hearts and the sincerity of our deeds." With his final breath, the elder imparted his last piece of wisdom: live mindfully, act with compassion, and trust in the cycle of life. For what goes around comes around, and in understanding this, you will find true peace. The disciples, moved by their master's final words, vowed to continue spreading the teachings of karma. They understood that the legacy of the elder would live on through their actions and the lives they touched. In the serene village at the edge of the vast forest, the teachings of karma remained alive and vibrant. The stories of the generous merchant, the compassionate farmer, the arrogant nobleman, and the wise monk were passed down through generations, each tale a reminder of the universal truth: what goes around comes around. The villagers, guided by these teachings, lived harmoniously, helping one another and nurturing their community. They understood that their actions, no matter how small, contributed to the larger tapestry of life. The village prospered, not through wealth or power, but through the simple acts of kindness and compassion that defined their way of living, and so, the wheel of karma continued to turn, an eternal cycle of cause and effect, bringing balance and harmony to the world. In this cycle, the villagers found true wisdom and peace, knowing that their actions would always come full circle, for what goes around comes around. Thanks for watching. Hope enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Just click the subscribe button below and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Also, feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you'd like to see next. See you in the next video. In the tranquil teachings of Zen and Buddhist philosophy, the concept of attachment often emerges as a primary cause of suffering. As we journey through life, especially in our later years, the relationships we keep become pivotal to our peace of mind and spiritual well-being. The wise ones often say, It is not what you carry, but who you carry it with that determines the weight on your journey. With this in mind, it is essential to approach life with discernment, understanding that not all companionship brings solace or wisdom, especially in the twilight of our lives. This tale unfolds the wisdom of avoiding certain types of people in old age, for peace, joy, and balance. 1. The Critic. As the tale begins, a wise elder sat on the edge of a still lake, quietly watching the ripples spread across the water's surface. A young seeker approached him, eyes filled with questions. "What is the secret to peace in old age?" he asked. The elder spoke softly, his voice carrying the weight of many years. "In the quiet moments of life, guard yourself against those who thrive on criticism. There are people who, like shadows, find fault in everything, casting darkness on others. They cannot see the beauty in imperfection, and their eyes are trained only to find what is wrong, rather than what is good." The seeker was intrigued, and the elder continued. "These critics drain the spirit, making you question yourself and lose sight of your worth. In old age, one's mind is like a garden that has been tenderly cultivated over many years. It needs warmth, sunlight, and care, not the cold touch of criticism. Avoiding critics is an act of self-preservation, a way to keep one's peace intact." He looked into the young seeker's eyes, offering a piece of wisdom. The voices we keep around us become the whispers of our own minds. Be mindful of those who only know how to tear down rather than build up. 2. The Pessimist. The elder closed his eyes for a moment, breathing in deeply before continuing. "Then, there are the pessimists, the ones who see only darkness even in the brightest of days. Their words weigh heavy with despair, and they seek to bring others into their clouded world." The seeker listened intently as the elder explained, "In the later stages of life, your heart yearns for simplicity, for joy, and for contentment. The pessimist is like a stone tied to your spirit, pulling you down into a realm of despair and defeat. Their energy can be infectious, eroding hope like waves erode the shore." With a gentle but firm tone, the elder advised, "Let not the pessimists linger in your life. Just as one must walk away from a cold, shadowed place into the warmth of the sun, so too must you walk away from those who see only the worst. Choose companions who lift your spirits and bring laughter to your heart." 3. The Manipulator. The seeker was beginning to understand the elder's message when the wise one continued, "Another type to avoid is the manipulator. In your younger years, you may have the strength to resist, to discern, to fight against their control. But in old age, when the spirit is gentler, manipulators can easily twist and pull, using your kindness and trust to their advantage." With a deep sigh, the elder added, "The manipulator wears many faces, sometimes a friend, sometimes family, sometimes even a companion. They seek to mold your thoughts to serve their desires, and they are clever in their ways." The seeker's face was troubled, and the elder reassured him. "Be aware, young one. In the quiet of age, there is strength in recognizing the shadows that linger in others. Know who seeks to walk beside you with an open heart, and who only wishes to take advantage of your open heart." 4. The Envious. A soft wind rustled the leaves, and the elder watched as the young seeker pondered his words. After a pause, he continued, "In the winter of life, one should not walk beside the envious. These individuals carry a heavy burden in their hearts, always comparing, always desiring what others have, never content with what they possess." The seeker asked, "But what harm can envy bring to an elder?" The elder smiled gently. Envy is like a slow poison. Even when it is directed at others, it erodes peace and harmony. Those who are envious will cast doubt, raise questions about your joy, and steal away contentment with subtle words of discontent. Their very presence unsettles the mind. For they cannot see beauty without wishing it was theirs. He leaned in, imparting a final thought. In your old age, guard your happiness fiercely. Avoid those who look upon it with jealousy, for it is your treasure, hard-won, and meant to be savored, not shared with those who cannot appreciate it. 5. The gossip, the seeker nodded in understanding, feeling the weight of the elder's words as he continued. Then there are the gossipers, those who delight in the stories of others, often with a twist of malice. In old age, time becomes a precious friend, and there is little need to fill it with idle talk of others' lives. The elder's voice softened. Gossip is a thief of joy. A needless distraction from the quiet beauty of one's own life. It pulls you into a world of judgments, half-truths, and assumptions. Those who gossip are often troubled within, looking outward instead of inward. A sense of peace filled the elder's face as he shared this wisdom. When you distance yourself from gossip, you find clarity. The mind grows still, the heart more content. Let the lives of others unfold as they will. In your own journey, seek to walk the path of peace and respect. 6. The complainer. The elder raised his gaze to the sky, watching a flock of birds flying freely. One of the heaviest burdens in life is the constant company of a complainer, he said thoughtfully. In old age, when the heart has endured much and seeks tranquility, the last thing one needs is the weight of constant complaints. He sighed and explained, the complainer is never satisfied. They look at life and see only what it lacks. Their voice becomes a constant echo of dissatisfaction, eroding one's own sense of gratitude. In time, you may find yourself focusing on life's small annoyances rather than its blessings. The elder's tone turned gentle as he offered advice. In old age, seek the companionship of those who see beauty in simplicity, who are grateful for each breath, each sunrise. To avoid the complainer is to protect the joy within yourself. 7. The self-absorbed. As the seeker absorbed the elder's teachings, the wise one continued, then there are those who are consumed by themselves, the self-absorbed. They are blind to others' needs and speak only of their own desires, their own lives. In their presence, you may feel invisible, as though your own experiences and thoughts do not matter. The elder looked directly at the seeker, his expression earnest. In your later years, you have earned the right to be seen, to be heard, and to be valued. The self-absorbed will not honor this. They drain your energy, making every interaction about themselves. He added, avoid those who cannot see beyond their own world. Surround yourself with those who listen, who value your presence. Life is too short to spend in the shadows of those who never look beyond their own desires. 8. The argumentative. Finally, the elder's voice grew solemn as he reached the last type. There are those who thrive on conflict, who find satisfaction in arguments, debates, and discord. They cannot simply let things be. The argumentative ones create tension, unsettling the peace you have cultivated. He looked out across the lake, his face serene. In old age, the heart craves stillness, not the turmoil of constant opposition. Those who seek to argue are often deeply unhappy within themselves. They pull others into their turmoil to distract from their own suffering. The elder's tone softened as he concluded, "Walk away from those who live to argue. In the peace of your later years, choose quiet, choose understanding, choose harmony over discord. Let your days end as gently as the setting sun, unburdened by the storms of others." As the sun began to dip below the horizon, the seeker sat quietly, absorbing the elder's wisdom. He understood now that life, particularly in old age, should be a time of serenity, of gentle companionship, and of mindful choices. The elder's words had painted a path to inner peace, a way to guard his spirit against the weight of others' burdens. With a heart filled with gratitude, the seeker thanked the elder, who simply nodded in acknowledgement. "Remember," the elder said, "life's journey is like a winding path through the forest. Walk with those who bring light, warmth, and laughter. In this way, your heart will remain as clear as this lake, untouched by the shadows of those you have wisely chosen to avoid." And so, the seeker departed, carrying with him the wisdom to choose his companions wisely, to protect his peace, and to live the remaining days of his life with clarity and joy, free from the weight of those who would hinder his spirit. Thanks for watching. Hope enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Just click the subscribe button below and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Also, feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you'd like to see next. See you in the next video.